Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming. This week, I'll be talking about Super Mario 64, a creepypasta related to it. So this creepypasta about Super Mario 64 basically starts out with an individual reminiscing about when he played Super Mario 64 as a child, and as he was watching gameplay of it on the internet, when suddenly a pop-up appeared offering the game in mint condition for sale. The ad looked sketchy, but he still went and bought the title, for nostalgia's sake. The seller wanted $10, sent in an envelope to his or her address, instead of using a more convenient and safer way such as PayPal. After the transaction was done, the game was shipped back a couple of days later. The game cartridge looked very crappy. The original sticker was ripped off and replaced with a piece of duct tape with Mario written crudely on it. Seems legit. The game started normally, and at the main menu where players could, play around with Mario's face. So he pulled on one of Mario's ears for old time's sake, and then went to do the same with the other ear, until when he did it to the other ear, the TV began to produce loud static, and Mario's head began twisting demonically. Yeah. It obviously wasn't possible for the model to do so, and while this was happening, random sound effects played through the static, and a faint voice in Japanese could be heard, stammering and whimpering. He then shut off the game and restarted again this time, not bothering with Mario's demonic fucked up head. He selected a file and the game began, but instead of showing Peach's monologue at the beginning, it skipped it entirely. The game's music was also missing, and Bowser didn't even say anything once the player entered the castle. With no toads to talk to, all he could do was go to Babam Field, as no other door responded at all. The portrait of the level was all glitched up, and, it was sort of, whitish from what I could read out of it. It wasn't the original poster. There were significant changes among it. But anyways, the player thought it was just a glitch and jumped through the portal into the map. And as soon as he did that, the portrait of the level just changed to Lethal Lava Land. The painting for that level. The mission screen appeared, and where it was supposed to say, Big Babam on the summit, it just said turn back in capital letters. Upon entering the level, it seemed normal until Luigi showed up. Luigi was never in the game, and it appeared as if a new model was made instead of just, a crappy palette swap with Mario's character model. As he played the level, every time he picked up a coin, the enemies and music would get slower, and the scenery would get darker and more morbid. Just more terrifying in general. Once the 5th coin was collected, the music had stopped, and the enemies had laid down on the ground as if they were dead. As the player reached the summit of the map where you find the King Babam, a small cottage was there on the top. As he had entered the cottage, and the door closed behind, a picture of Luigi had popped up with a sharp, scary noise. The picture depicted Luigi hung to death, with Mario then falling to his knees crying for 5 straight minutes. The player returned back to the castle, but this time he appeared in a room where there were rows of toads, wearing white robes, all with blank expressions. And the most scary part was, across from him, another portrait appeared to enter a level, except this time, the picture was basically of his family, a family portrait. And, it was a level, so reluctantly, I guess, he entered the level, and he basically appeared in a flooded hallway with platforms. The camera turned around to show what was behind Mario, and it just showed a giant, big, black, blocky blob. And no matter how much Mario ran away, the blob would catch up and envelop him in darkness. The player was kicked out of the painting, and this time the room was different. The room didn't have any toads whatsoever at all, and the painting depicted in the level now changed, and it showed his family portrait, except this time their bodies were decomposing. Yuck. The player had jumped through the painting again and selected the only mission available called I'm Right Here. Mario this time was sent into a dark small room with a piano, also known as the Mad Piano. The Mad Piano started to chase Mario, and since it couldn't be attacked, the player could only let Mario die. When Mario lost all of his health, the usual death animation didn't occur this time, but instead the piano mauled him and Mario's blood and guts spilled all over the floor. A distorted version of the merry-go-round music, the one from Big Boo's Haunt, played, and as the screen transitioned from the in-game depiction of Mario's death to a photorealistic sketch or drawing of Mario's death. And as the player was sent back out, the photo of the player's family was just more horrific this time. Mario is then warped outside Peach's castle, except this time the castle was crumbling in ruins and the fields were set on fire, and the sky was completely pitch black. The player also heard Bowser laughing and hearing several children chanting the phrase, "You couldn't save her." After a while, Peach had appeared on screen screaming with black eyes, accompanied by a very loud screech. Mario warped back into the room with the picture of his decomposing family and entered back into the painting and was thrown into a level without a name. Mario had been warped to a small island in the middle of the ocean. There was one sign only, and it said dive. The player reluctantly went into the ocean, and as the player kept on swimming down for about 10 minutes in that lifeless ocean, no fish, no nothing, he turned around and then was eaten by a massive Unagi the eel. As the player was eaten, there was no game over screen, and the player was warped back into the room and was greeted with his family portrait again, except this time, the bodies were nothing more than mere skeletons. Well, what do I have to say about this? Possibly true, but most likely false. I hate to be so skeptical, but I really don't think it exists. Like the Majora's Mask creepypasta, and if you don't know what I'm talking about here, there's a link at the end of the video, but if you're in a hurry, then here's a link right now above. But anyways, back to the whole analysis, the Majora's Mask creepypasta still had video proof. Granted, you could use a cheat device to recreate some anomalies in that game, but at least we had a video which gave, some credibility to the theory that it could be real. But this game doesn't. And even if this game were to exist, it would most definitely have to be a ROM, right? That a hacker would have made. Now, the hacker obviously uploaded the ROM to the cart and sold it. Now, I don't know much about N64 ROM hacking, but if someone were to hack a ROM like this by, creating brand new models, changing the map so that things appear on fire, castles are crumbling, then that takes a lot of time and effort. And anyways, the person who sold the cartridge to the player obviously wasn't in it for the money. He only charged $10 when he knows, or he or she knows, when they could have gotten much more for such a game. So, was the creator sending a message about something, in his personal life, or, maybe about Mario in general? Or could it have a deeper meaning, or could the guy or girl just be completely fucked in the head? How would I know? I'm not a psychologist. But think about it. If you know anything more about it, or if you have some valid argument, or some suggestion, or, any idea, put it in the comments below. I'm listening. However, the nail that seals the coffin to this game's possible existence is the fact that the player mentions his family portrait appearing in the game. Anyone who has even the slightest technical know-how knows that this kind of programming or anomaly isn't even possible, unless the actual creator of the ROM stalked the player around and even gathered family photos, which would be very fucking creepy on its own, and definitely would warrant its own creepypasta. This is why I believe this game isn't possible, mostly because I haven't seen videos or pictures of it, and the fact that the ROM of this game isn't available anywhere on the internet. And so if I can't see it firsthand or videos, I assume it's not real. That's just the way I am, alright? If you believe it's real, tell me why. If you have any evidence linking to the ROM, yes, tell me. Even if you don't, and you're a ROM hacker, and you apparently made this ROM, please send me a link. I would very much love to play it. So, is this creepypasta creepy? Yes, it's definitely very creepy, and by far it's one of the best I've read. Very descriptive, very detailed, and you guys should definitely check it out. Links are in the description below. This is my analysis of this creepypasta. It may possibly, if not definitely, be fake, but it sure is fucking creepy. Well, guys and gals, if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and this sums this week up pretty much. Look forward to next week with the Minecraft series, you know, the Let's Play of Ocarina of Time series. And if you want us to Let's Play another game, put it in the you know, comments below. We'll do it. And you know, there's gonna be another series, but I'm not gonna let you guys know for now. You know, there might be 2 other series. We're getting another commentator on. He's a really good friend of mine. You know, really funny guy. I'm probably gonna get him on. But so that's 2 series you guys look forward to. You know, I'm gonna keep that a surprise for now. You know, for next week. But thanks for watching. You know, and stay safe, guys and girls.
Your face.